You'd also say that you have quick reflexes,
Yes, ma'am.
and you would say that you've taken your oath today very seriously, correct? To tell the
Yes,
truth.
yes, ma'am.
Have you been telling the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your relationship with Miss Jones, Dominique.
Correct.
When you were asked about whether or not you were in a relationship, why is it that you led this jury to believe that you were not?
Because I did not officially make her my girlfriend. We were dealing with each other.
Okay. So this woman is basically living at the house that you share with your mom and your brother and sleeping over there, right?
He has been sleeping over. That's correct.
You're exchanging the I love yous, correct?
That's correct.
You are also not just giving her words, but you're telling her she needs to trust you. That's why you're giving her the password, right?
Correct.
And you are pretty much exclusive at that point, right?
That's how you put it.
Not how I put it, that's how you put it in another hearing, that you were exclusive at that point, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Then why are you giving them the impression that you weren't really in a relationship?
I mean, I'm just.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
You were cheating on Miss Jones, right?
That's not cheating if she's not.
You're going to admit it or not, Mr. Rudolph.
No.
You're not cheating on her.
No.
So at another hearing where you also gave testimony, you know the hearing I'm talking about on March 8th of 2022. You remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Overruled. Go ahead. You testified then that you cheated on her, right?
I don't recall that.
Okay, let me show you. Overruled. Okay. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
All right. I want you first to go to page 313. And I want you to read line 15.
Okay.
See right there where your answer is? We was exclusive pretty much.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Now I want you to go over to page 341, top top line number one. Sister, hang on. Said that they were exclusive. That's what the line says. Overruled. Are you with me yet, Mr. Rudolph?
Yes.
Page 341, line one,
Yes.
going to line two.
Yes.
You recall right there, you admitted you pretty much got caught. You saw those text messages, right?
Yes.
Go down the page a little bit, line 12 through 14. Read that to yourself.
I read it.
Again, you're admitting you deserved getting the hits because she caught you texting someone else, right?
Correct.
Right? We're not done. I'm gonna also have you go to page 340. You're gonna start at the bottom there, line 25,
Okay.
and then keep going over to 341.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have you go back to page 334. And on page 334, I'm going to have you read lines 2 through 10 to yourself.
Um, well, I'm going to have to, well, both of you approach. Please feel free to stand up and stretch, ladies and gentlemen. Right, you may continue.
Sorry for that interruption, Mr. Rudolph. Were you able to complete the page?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So you see there again where you admit that you were being unfaithful to her, right?
Correct.
So let's move on from that issue. You were cheating. Got it.
But
Sustained. Disregard that comment, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to talk about something that is essential.
Sustained. Next issue. Next question, I should say.
What exactly did Dominique say to you as she was yelling and carrying on in your house? Because a while ago on Direct, you said that she said she was going to send her brothers over to kill you.
yes,
Is that what she said?
I said she was gonna send her brothers over there to fuck me up and kill me.
That is what you said, right?
Yes.
That is not what she said. Correct?
She said that.
I want you to go to page 342 of the same testimony. I'm going to have you refresh your recollection when you were asked what her exact words were. It's going to be lines 19 through 20 was your answer.
Okay.
And there, in her words, was, I'm going to send my brother to fuck you up. Nothing about kill, right?
Yes. From this testimony, yes.
Okay. Let's start over if we will. At the beginning of a case, after you're charged and you go to jail and you get an attorney, there's a process called discovery, correct?
Correct.
And that is when the state has to turn over all the evidence that it has against you, correct?
Correct.
You and your attorneys receive that evidence, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then you gave the testimony that we were just talking about on March 8th of 2022, correct?
Correct.
And let's talk about what you knew by then. All right?
All right, feel free to stand up and stretch, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. So by that time, you had heard that Tyler was shot, right? And received evidence of that.
Yes.
And you knew that the gun belonging to Tyler had been recovered, right? That just is just his knowledge.
Overruled. Do you know?
Yes.
You fine if you don't. That's okay too.
And you knew that gun was a handgun that was recovered through the discovery process, right?
Overruled.
Yes.
And you also knew that Sebastian had died, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you knew that Sebastian was found in the front passenger side of that Cadillac, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you would have also seen the pictures, right, of the vehicle and what it looked like after the police found it.
Yes, ma'am.
And you also then would have seen the pictures of the casings and where they were located.
Yes, ma'am.
That just is not privileged information.
Well, hang on. Come on up. Stand up, stretch.
And Mr. Rudolph, at the time of this hearing, March 8th, 2022, you had sat there and listened to the state present evidence as well, right, by that point?
Yes, ma'am.
And had seen all these photos and the videos that were referenced in this trial.
Correct.
So going back, you knew about the casings then, the photos of where the casings were located.
Yes, ma'am.
And you also would have then knew the distance between your front door to where the casings were located, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you would have seen the ring videos from your residence, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Both of them, the ones when the men got there, as well as the one when you went back in to get your gun.
That's correct.
And also the surveillance videos from Mr. Nash's house. You would have seen those as well.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to talk to you about Daryl that night. Daryl was wearing a plain white t-shirt, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
He was the only one in the plain white t-shirt, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And just so we have a frame of reference, State is going to call this one State 73, Judge, for my approaching witness.
You may.
I'll show it to defense counsel.
You may.
So, Minister Rudolph, you can see your brother in that shot, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, that's in like night vision, right? So you can't see the colors as well. But you remember he was the one wearing the plain white T-shirt.
Yes, ma'am.
It was, but overruled under the circumstances.
You were just asked on direct about the decision Daryl made to chase after Tyler after the shooting started. You remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you admitted you thought it was essentially nonsensical. He shouldn't have done that.
Correct.
Do you know how Daryl got all the way down the street from your residence?
No, I don't.
Okay. But by the time you saw Daryl and he was engaging in this fight with, you said, Sebastian and Chris, right? He was about, I think you said, about 200 feet down the road on Redwood.
Yes.
And you have no idea how he got down there.
No, I do not.
You said before you even got to where Daryl was with Sebastian and Chris with this fight about 200 feet down the road, that they left, ran off before you even got to them, right?
Yes.
And you said that was about 40 or 50 feet prior to getting to Daryl and where Sebastian and Chris were, right?
Correct.
So clearly at that point, you and Daryl just turn around and go back home, right?
No, I disagree.
But everybody's running back to the car. Why not?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm lost on what you're asking. Can you repeat the question?
Of course, of course. Why, if he was only 200 feet down the road on Redwood when you saw your brother,
Right.
you were about 40 or 50 feet away from him when everybody ran off and ran to the car, why didn't you two just go back to your house?
Well, I can speak on my behalf. I got in front of my brother because, like I said, it appeared to me sure as that the car was coming towards us with no lights on.
I don't understand that, and let me see if I can with this question. Can you tell me how long 103 yards are, approximately, if you know
Football field.
anything that's like it?
Like a football field.
Like a football field, all right? And it's your opinion then that by the time you saw Daryl and this young man running back to the car, that he was already by the car?
Yes.
But how could that be?
I'm confused on why you asking why. How could it
Well,
be?
you said he was only 200 feet down the road. How did they get all the way back to the car? If everybody's running to the car, why is Daryl running with them?
Daryl wasn't running with them.
Then he should have been further up on Redwood, and you shouldn't have been down there either, right?
No, I disagree.
Why not?
Because, like I said, I can't tell you why my brother was down there. I lost sight of him. But I'm definitely going to go down there to make sure my brother's good and protect his life. I'm not just going to leave my brother down the street with 4 men that I know at least one of them have a firearm.
Okay. Let me back up a little bit and see if this helps. When you first see a firearm, it is your testimony that that was Tyler, correct?
Correct.
And that was at the front of your house, sort of near the driveway road area, correct?
Correct.
And you said you saw him start to pull it out. You don't even wait for him to see what he's going to do with it. You immediately book it into the house.
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, you didn't have to go far into the house to find your firearm, right?
Correct.
It's right there by the door.
Yes, ma'am.
So you grab it and you run right back out.
Yes, ma'am.
By the time you come out, Tyler no longer has a gun in his hand.
Correct. From what I
And
observed.
as far as you can see, Tyler's standing over there in the roadway, right?
Yes, ma'am.
No gun in his hand.
Correct.
So at that point, you believe threat neutralized, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then you said you looked down the road on Redwood, and that's when you saw your brother.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was about 200 feet down.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am. That's an approximation, I guess.
Of course, you
Yes.
didn't have a measuring tape,
Okay.
right? So about approximately.
Yes, ma'am.
But this is not all the way down to the car, correct?
No, I'll say my brother was probably about 20, 30 feet from the car.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, that's the guess. I mean,
You said people are running to the car, so it's not a quick jog to the car by that point, right?
I mean, they wasn't that far from their car to get to that car. I'm confused on what you're trying to ask.
So when you catch up or reach to where Daryl is, the car is still pretty far away from you, right?
No, my brother was 20 to 30 feet from the car, so
That's
that's not far.
perhaps that's the issue we're having.
Well, overruled. It's a new question. Go ahead. That's right. New question.
Right. So I just want to make sure we are even talking about the same distance. All right. So a while ago, when you were talking with your attorney, you said this was about
10 yards.
10 yards or so. All right. Tell me how much in feet would you say, since we've been using feet?
I mean, I'll guess probably 10 yards would probably be like 25 to 30 feet, maybe.
Okay. So then Daryl was behind, right? And so were you.
Right.
And the car, I assume, is where you are, right?
Right.
Okay. I can't get very much further because of the chairs, but about where the first row is. Is that what you're saying? Is approximately where you were from the car?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's dark outside, right?
Yes, ma'am.
The only lights really is coming from the car.
Their lights was off.
I'm asking you, I don't know.
No, I mean it's a street light further down the street.
How far is the street light?
I can't tell you how far it was from the scene.
We get that you're making an
Probably
approximation.
I guess probably like maybe 30 yards, maybe
Further away?
from where I was. Yes, it'll be further south.
So it's closer to the car,
Yes, it would be closer to the car.
but also more south of the car.
Yes.
So between yourself and the car and Daryl, there's no lights.
No, there's you can still see. Like, it's not like just pitch black where you can't see anything at all.
So you saw when the car lit up, right?
No, I didn't see when the car lit up.
You saw when the car started moving,
Yes.
and you hadn't yet fired when the car started moving, right?
No,
And the car reversed. That's the first thing it did, right?
not to my recollection.
Well, you've seen the video now.
Yes.
First thing a car did was reverse, right?
On that video, yes.
And then Keyshawn tried to make some weird 3-point turn to get out of there, right?
Correct.
And that's when you started shooting.
No, I started shooting while the car was faced towards me.
All right, let's watch it. Can I get your help?
I can't remember. Is this one that dimming the lights assists or?
Yes, Judge, it will assist, and I believe this one's State 49. Mr. Rudolph, can you see it, the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If you have to, just let me know that you can't see anymore and you need to step down, okay?
Okay.
You can pause it. So here, Mr. Rudolph, this is the black Cadillac, right? Parked still?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Cricket play. Pause. Back out. Give at least 5 seconds. Mr. Rudolph, I want you to pay attention to this area of the screen where you come from and what the car is doing at the time. Okay? All right. All right. You would agree, Mr. Rudolph, that these are the rear of the car, right?
Yes.
At the time you start shooting, that's you right here, right?
Yes.
With the muzzle flash?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That car is already headed away from you. That's why we can see those taillights like that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Keep playing, please. All right. Pause. Do you need to see it again, or can you now answer whether or not you started shooting after the car was moving away from you?
That video doesn't do justice. I seen another angle where it's clearly their car was faced towards me when I initially started shooting. So if you want to base it off that video, that's subjective because, I mean, I don't know what's up with that.
Okay. So do you think that this video has been changed in some way?
No, I just feel like its camera angles are different. That's just my opinion.
All right, let's play the other
I was
angle.
physically there.
We're going to play the other angle. To be fair, states 31. And we're going to have to fast forward to about 12:10. Can you see the screen still?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pause for me. So you see on this video as well, the car is moving before you start shooting, right?
Ma'am, I testified that the car was faced towards me when I first started shooting.
Let's play it again.
You telling me they
Okay.
turned. And I clearly see fires, see gunshots while the car is still faced towards me. I don't know if my eyes or your eyes are playing tricks with you. I see that clearly.
Mr. Rudolph, you're not being asked a question right now. If you could please remain silent.
Yes, ma'am.
He was not sustained or overruled, excuse me.
Pause it and go back about 5 seconds or so. And then play. Pause. Sorry, let's try that again. Pause. You would agree, sir, that the taillights of the vehicle